All right, Shalom. First and foremost, want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Machakwadash, and double honors to the elder apostles of Great Millstone and salutations to the elect. This is the brother lawyer from Great Millstone, Miami. And hey, what I'll be doing is another edition of In the News. Okay. Yeah, man, a lot's going on. All right. Prophecies coming to pass, man. Um, I have a few headlines and articles on the screen here. Um, dealing with some of the events taking place across the globe. Just a few things, and of course, how they line up with biblical prophecy. All right. As scriptures tell us, measure thou the time diligently in itself. Okay. And how do we measure the times? By what's written in the Bible. Okay. The Bible, um, how would I say, details certain prophecies. Okay. Speaks on certain things that's going to happen before they happen. And so we go into the scriptures and we see these events, and we look out into the world and we see correlating events, and that's what lets us know that our Lord and Savior is getting ready to come back. All right, as the disciples asked him, what sign shall there be when these things shall begin to come to pass? And he told them, nation shall rise against nation, kingdom against kingdom, and so on and so forth. Okay, and so that's how we measure the times. That's how we know what times we're living in, by using the Bible as a measuring tool or a measuring stick. Metaphorically speaking, all right, to determine where we are. Okay, and with that, I have a few things, like I said, and gonna go into the prophecies, correlate it, line it all together, and Lord willing, this video is edifying. Okay, so this is from the WTSP.com. All right, it says weather: Florida's rainy season on the way, but drought conditions continue. Okay, it says abnormally dry conditions keep Southwest Florida in a drought for another week. Okay, it says Tampa, Florida, while sunny spring days continue to dominate Southwest and Central Florida, could use a bit of rain. The latest U.S. Drought Monitor report shows that 24% of Florida is experiencing moderate drought conditions. About 5% is in a severe drought, and 33% of the state is abnormally dry. There are a few more weeks left in the Florida dry season, while the radar is becoming more active day by day. The parched spots of the state need more than a brief downpour to bust the current drought conditions, and it doesn't matter, okay, how much rain they get, because all of this is according to the will of Yahweh Shemel Shai. Okay, all right. The scriptures tell you in Revelations, the 16th chapter, the book of Revelation, the 16th chapter, all right, that the Lord will pour out a vial using an angel upon the sun, okay, and that it would scorch men with fervent heat, which I'm going to get that right now. Okay, Revelation 16 and 18. I'm sorry, 16 and 8. It says, and the fourth angel poured out his vial upon the sun, and power was given unto him to scorch men with fire, and men were scorched with great heat, and blasphemed the name of Yahweh, which hath power over these plagues, and they repented not to give him glory. Okay, all right, and that's why you see all of these wildfires taking place, because understand, this is not something that's limited to Florida. This is happening all over the United States. Okay, New Mexico, you can go out to the West Coast. There's a drought. Okay, all right, there's water shortages, energy shortages. Okay, all right, the Midwest is being battered by different types of catastrophes. Okay, all right, and even Texas and Florida as well. Okay, so that's why that's why this is happening, and there's no mitigating the problem. Okay, there's no, you know, hoping that rain is going to turn it all away. Nah, because matter of fact, of course, hey, I'm from Florida. I've been in Florida all my life, and over this past year so far, going back into January 2022, down to where we're at now in May. Okay, we've should have really received rain. The rainy season should have really started back like late March, going into April, through April down into May. All right, but we've only really seen rain like that within maybe the past couple weeks or so, and a few showers here and there. So that goes to show you that the Lord is really judging this place, man. Okay, and I can speak from my experience living here in Florida. Driving through different parts of Florida, it's like every time I turn and look up out the window, it's wildfires. Okay, you see smoke plumes going up. Okay, All right, you look at the water canals and the different lakes that which I've seen since I was young. Since I was a child. You expect the water line to be to a certain level, okay, but it's decreasing. The water line is getting lower and lower to the point where you can see the old boot somebody threw in there back in 1989 somewhere. The old can. You could see the bottom of it. You can see the algae, the which is supposed to be underwater. You're not supposed to see it, but you can see it on the edge of the walls of the waterway or the lake or the pond. Okay, so the Lord is really truly is plaguing this place with a drought, man. Okay, as it is written, man. Okay, so and it's funny that this place is called the Sunshine State. Okay, because that name, the Lord is really turning it into a burden. Okay, but anyway, I do want to go to another article. Okay, this is from the CNN.com. It says over 22. I'm sorry, 22,000 acres burned in Florida as wildfires rage. Okay, that's May 6, 2022. All right. It says at least 37 active wildfires have burned over 22,000 acres in Florida, according to the Florida Forest Service. Of those, 26 fires have been contained, the agency added. The three largest fires are burning in the Everglades, in Broward, and in Palm Beach counties. Okay. All right. It says the L39 and two alpha fires burning in Palm Beach County have torched approximately 16,550 acres, according to the state's Forest Service. And in nearby Broward County, the two Bravo fire in the Everglades have burned about 5,650 acres. There are no reports of injuries or structures burning in these fires. Meantime, about 300,000 acres have burned this year in New Mexico, more than the past 2 full years combined. Okay, it says the Hermit's Peak Calf Canyon fire, the biggest U.S. fire this year and the second largest in New Mexico in the last 30 hours, which that's going back a few last week, a few weeks ago. It says had torched more than 165,000 acres by Thursday, destroying dozens of homes and could threaten more than 15,000 more this week. Officials said, man. So it's going up. It's going down. The Lord is plaguing Babylon the Great. Okay, that's what it is. All right. This is, this is Jeremiah 50:38. All right. It says a drought is upon her waters, and they shall be dried up. For it is the land of graven images, and they are mad upon their idols. So that's why this is happening. Okay, because of all the rampant idolatry that takes place in Babylon, the Great America, the Lord is plaguing this place with fire and droughts. Okay, and there's plenty headlines on it. Not just limited to Florida, but just all over the United States. Matter of fact, let me see if I can find something. Drought, U.S. drought monitor. Let's see. Monitor map. Let's see if I can find it. Bam! Look at that. Okay, look at that. You see this, man? Okay, this whole West Coast area. Okay, going into the Midwest, Texas, getting touched. All right, and Central and parts of South Florida. Okay, parts of the Southeast coast. Yeah, it's bad, man. It's bad. Okay, it's bad, and it's not getting any better. All right, this is not getting any better. Okay, all right. Gosh. Okay, let's go to Second Ezra chapter 15. Okay, and verse 10, it says, Behold, my people is led as a flock to the slaughter. I will not suffer them now to dwell in the land of Egypt, but I will bring them with a mighty hand and a stretched out arm, and smite Egypt with plagues as before, and will destroy all the land thereof. Okay, now look, now the times we're entering into is the time of Jacob's trouble. Okay, all right, which is why the scripture says, My people is led as a flock to the slaughter. Okay, so because of that, the Lord is going to start plaguing Egypt as before, which America is spiritually called Sodom and Egypt, according to the book of Revelation, the 11th chapter. Okay, that great city Babylon, right? Okay, and why is it called Sodom and Egypt? Because the Israelites, you Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans have suffered bondage here together. Okay, the harshest form of bondage the world has ever seen. Okay, all right, and it's gonna get worse. The powers that be and your oppressors are gonna come down on you even harder, okay, than they already have. All right, so the Lord is hearing that cry. He's hearing the groanings, really, of the elect of the nation of Israel. Okay, and so he's gonna make, he is making, has made, and is going to make moves on Babylon the Great, which is this new Egypt. Okay, by bringing plagues upon Babylon the Great America. Okay, the new Egypt, right? Okay, it says Egypt shall mourn, and the foundation of it shall be smitten with the plague and punishment that God shall bring upon it. They that till the ground shall mourn, for their seed shall fail through the blasting and hail, and with a fearful constellation. And farmers all over are complaining about, weather conditions. Okay, whether it be extreme heat, cold, wildfires, hail, rain, flash flooding, tornadoes, hurricanes, landslides, you name it. Okay, all right. They're complaining. Why? Because it's affecting the yield of their crops, man. Okay, it's affecting it in a negative way. All right, and that fearful constellation going into the sun, because the sun is letting out wrath of the heavenly Father upon the inhabitants of the earth, man. Okay, and that along with the supply chain block, shortages, and the hyperinflation. Okay, the war in Ukraine. All right, okay, and also gas prices going up. All these things are having a cumulative effect. Okay, all right, what else you got, man? You got so many things happening, man. It's hard to keep up, but hey, that this is the judgment of Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai. Okay, the C1980, the C1984. Okay, all right, all of these things are having a negative effect. Okay, on farming. Okay, on different businesses and different sectors of society, man. All right, and again, this is all according to biblical prophecy, and it's going to get worse. Matter of fact, going to the next article um, from CNN.com again. Okay, which is beautiful that a lot of these headlines are coming out on CNN, because I remember years ago brothers would have to go to like RT, or would have to go to like these different Al Jazeera, these different outlets, man, because CNN wasn't really giving you like how they giving it now. You know what I'm saying? But now, see, they can't hide it. They have to bring it out. They have to bring it all out. Brothers had to go to this news outlet, that news outlets, and here and there go to CNN, certain things, for certain things. But now it's like CNN is just putting it all out on Front Street, and it's beautiful. Okay, goes to show you that the Lord is, really working His hand in the earth, and you can't ignore it, man. You can't ignore it. You have to talk about it. Okay, this is CNN.com, CNN Business. Okay, and this is from Friday. Okay, something more recent. May 13th, 2022. Okay, it says war fueled food inflation will cause social unrest, UN official says. And again, biblical prophecy, Bible prophecy. Okay, the Bible stands true, like it tells you in 2nd Ezra the 15th chapter. Matter of fact, I already have it here because I'm not going to misquote this. Okay, all right, this is all right, it says in verse 1, 2nd Ezra 15:1, it says, Behold, speak thou in the ears of my people the words of prophecy, which I will put in thy mouth, saith the Lord, and cause them to be written in paper, for they are faithful and true. 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 Okay, so that's what we seeing happen in the earth, man. Okay, all right, it says food inflation will cause social unrest. Why? Okay, because the price of food is going up, because the spending power of the current currencies of the world is weakening. Okay, which means that people can't get the things that they need. All right, so they're gonna be mad. The price is going up, the price of shipping is going up, everything is going up, and it's making it hard for people to get their daily necessities. So they are going to riot, and this is already happening. This is already happening in different places in the earth, whether it be the Middle East, Sri Lanka. Okay, different places on the earth are being affected, man. Okay, and that's according to biblical prophecy. But let me read some of this article first. Um, it says New York CNN Business, a perfect storm of war, extreme weather, And C, 1984 will drive global food prices to levels that will cause social unrest in some parts of the world, according to David Beasley, head of the United Nations World Program, man. I'm sorry, United Nations World Food Program, man. Okay, and it's not some part of the world; it's all part of the world. Matter of fact, just go to second. It's just we just going to go to second Ezra 15, okay? Because okay, it says in second Ezra 15 and 14, it says, "Woe to the world! Woe to the world! Not some parts of the world. Woe to the world and them that dwell therein, for the sword and the destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up to fight against another, and swords in their hands, for there shall be sedition amongst men, and invading one another, social unrest. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their action shall stand in their power," man. Social unrest, man. They gonna be mad. All right. A man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. They're gonna rise up against their government, their mayors, rulers, presidents, kings, whatever you want to call it, governors, however you want to say it, right? Their elected officials, whatever, right? A man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. Why? Because they're gonna have to lock these cities down, okay, to keep the chaos in control. We already see it happening in Shanghai. There was a video that came out. I don't know when it came out, but I know I saw it just a few days ago, if not yesterday, the day before. They was trapped in their apartments, and they hungry, in Shanghai. They hungry. Me hungry, we take drastic measures, right? And so they broke out, and they was fighting against the security, and the security was all dressed in white, and they had the mask on and the goggles on, but they pushed through, and it's like, nah, we hungry, you gotta get out, speaking, that East Asian language, right? So it's going down, okay? It's happening, okay? Because look, China is a developing nation, man. So if they feeling it, okay, what do you think is gonna happen here in America, man? Okay, for because of their pride, the city shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. Okay, a man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, and shall destroy their houses with the sword, and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread, and for great tribulation, because of the lack of bread, because of the lack of bread, because of the lack of bread, and for great tribulation. That is what's happening in the earth, man. Okay, and he said it. He said, look what he said. Look, he said, a perfect storm of war, extreme weather, and the C 1984 will drive global food prices to levels that will cause social unrest in some parts, which is really all parts of the world, according to David Beasley, head of the United Nations World Food Program. If people can't feed their families, their children and their families, then the politics unsettles, because people are not going to give a damn about the politics. What the politicians have to stay calm. We have a solution. They're not going to want to hear that, man. And through the spirit, the powers that be know that. They know that. They want the chaos, man. Okay? So they could bring their solution, so they could bring the tyranny and the hammer down, man. Okay? And ultimately bring that C to the H to the I to the P. Okay, it says hit by high food prices and supply disruptions. Beasley said the UN has been forced to ration food supplies to millions of people around the world. So they're already rationing food, and that's spiritual, man. Because the scriptures tell you they shall eat their bread by weight and drink their water by measure. That's gonna happen to Jerusalem, but the curses are flipping around on all you other nations. Y'all getting judged. It's time, man. Okay, often that means diverting food away from hungry children to feed starving children. Okay, so now they have to pick and choose who's gonna get the food and stuff like that. All right, which that goes to show you that really it's the poor that's being affected first, man. And the next article that our guy's gonna go into that, and that's why this is called Jacob's. It's called Jacob's trouble. Jacob's trouble, because Jacob's gonna be the one hurt the most. Okay, if we're not there with a safety net program, then the political extremists or whatever the case may be will exploit that. So they already know if they don't come up with a solution for any of this, the people who are already prone to like violence and just like hey, we gotta rise up. They gonna do that. So he's pretty much letting it be known that because this is the United Nations, okay. So they pride themselves. They've put themselves in a position of authority over issues like this, right? So they're like, oh, well, this is what's bound to happen. So we got to figure something out. But are they going to figure something out? No. Why? Because Bible prophecy is written into the very fabric of the reality that we live in. So there is no figuring this out. Okay. This is time for judgment. Okay. It says Beasley said during the Sabu conference in New York. Next thing you know, you've got riots, okay, which that's second as the ninth chapter, man. Matter of fact, so much going on. It's lovely. Second Ezra chapter 9. And let's see. It says in verse 1, it says, he answered me then and said, measure thou the time diligently in itself, and when thou seest part of the signs past which I have told thee before, then shalt thou understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. Therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world, okay, riots, then shalt thou well understand that the Most High spake of those things from the beginning. I'm sorry, from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning. Okay, even from the beginning. All right, it says, for like all that is made in the world hath a beginning and an end, and the end is manifest. Even so, the times of the highest have plain beginnings and wonders and powerful works and endings and effects and signs. This is one of the Lord's special effects: famine, riots, unrest, man. Okay, this is signs, man. Okay, everybody is looking for a sign. These are the signs, man. Okay. All right, drought, famine, riots, social unrest, man. We are here. Yahushua is getting ready to come back, man. Man. Okay, it says next thing you know, you've got riots, famine, destabilization, and then mass migration by necessity. Okay, which that's gonna cause a slew of issues, man. Okay, mass migration, people just having to leave one part of the earth to go to another part of the earth. That's gonna cause more stress, man. Okay, food prices are the main problem this year, but Beasley fears next year there will be a food availability crisis for a variety of reasons, including the war in Ukraine. Okay. In 2023, you're going to have a food shortage problem. Man. Oh, gosh. This is lovely. All right. Let's see here, man. So much. All right, so I'm gonna jump down to the part where it says worse than you think, much worse than you think. It says heading into January, the UN worried that 2022 would mark the worst humanitarian crisis since World War II. And then Russia invaded Ukraine, the world's breadbasket. Ukraine is one of the world's leading exporters of corn, wheat, barley, and sunflower oil. Beasley estimated that under normal circumstances, Ukraine farmers grow enough food to feed about 400 million people. That's pretty much going to be out of the equation for many months, he said. Many months, he said. Not only are some of Ukraine's critical Black Sea ports blocked by Russia, preventing vital exports from going overseas, but the country's farmers find themselves on the front line of the war instead of tending to their crops. It's going to be much worse than you think. Okay. All right. So it's gonna get bad. Okay. It's gonna get much worse. Which the scriptures talk about famine. Okay. Let's get that in the book of Matthew. Okay. Scriptures talk about famine. Yeah. Okay. All this wickedness going on earth. The solution, one of the solutions that the Lord has, is famine. Okay. For because of their pride. All right. You want to mitigate somebody's pride, starve them out. Okay. That's what the Lord is going to do. That's what the Lord is doing. Not going to do. That's what He's already doing right now. Okay. All right. This is go to Matthew. Oh, matter of fact, It's famines. Sorry, famines. It's not just famine. It's famines. Okay, Matthew 24:7. Okay, all right. It says, "For nation shall rise against nation." Well, matter of fact, nah, I gotta go up. Matthew 24:3, it says, "And as he sat upon the Mount of Olives, the disciples came unto him privately, saying, Tell us, when shall these things be, and what shall be the sign of thy coming and of the end of the world?" Okay, so signs, right? And Yahushua answered and said unto them, Take heed that no man deceive you, for many shall come in my name, saying, I am Hamashiach, and shall deceive many. All right, so you're going to have false prophets, and ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars, right? Russia and Ukraine, right? See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. For nation shall rise against nation, right? Wars and kingdom against kingdom. And there shall be famines, okay? Famines and pestilences and earthquakes in diverse places. All these are the beginning of sorrows, man. So this is just the beginning. It's gonna get worse. Okay? Like the guy said, he said it's much worse than you think. It's going to be much worse than you think. The beginning of sorrows, man. Ooh. Oh man. this is just juicy, man. Okay? Hey man, and somebody listening might think it's harsh when we go into these things and we laugh, but that's also prophecy being fulfilled, because the scriptures say, at destruction and famine thou shalt laugh, man. It's just lovely. Okay, so anyway, second Ezra chapter 16, okay, from the King James Bible 1611 version. It says, woe is me, who will deliver me in those days? The beginning of sorrows and great mournings, the beginning of famine and great death, man. Okay? And what have we seen over the past years? Great sorrows and mourning. People are languishing, more depressed. Suicide rates on all-time high, man. Okay? All right? Hopelessness, man. People don't have no hope for the future. All right? People are just giving up on their goals and dreams. Okay? Famine. After famine follows what? Great death. The beginning of wars. The beginning of wars. We seeing it happen in the Middle East and Ukraine. And the powers shall stand in fear. It's going to be much worse than we think. The beginning of evils, and what shall I do when these evils shall come? Behold, famine and plague, tribulation and anguish are sent as scourges for amendment. But for all these things they shall not turn from their wickedness, nor be always mindful of the scourges, man. So things are going to get even much worse, and people are going to get much more wicked, and they're not going to turn back to the Lord. Okay? Behold, victuals shall be so good cheap upon the earth that they shall think themselves to be in good case, and even then shall evils grow upon the earth, sword, famine, and great confusion. That's happening. Okay, for many of them that dwell upon the earth shall perish of famine, and the other that escape the hunger shall the sword destroy. And the dead shall be cast out as the dung, and there shall be no man to comfort them, for the earth shall be wasted, and the city shall be cast down. So it's gonna be mass death, man. Man, when we talk about this famine, bro, which we're already in the beginning of a famine, okay? Because famine, that takes time, okay? That's why the scriptures talk about how they pine away. That's why the scriptures say the beginning of a famine, which the word famine means shorter. Matter of fact, let's go to that. Okay, define famine. Sorry. Definition of famine. Okay, it says extreme scarcity of food, a shortage. Okay, a shortage, scarcity, lack, dearth, want, deficiency, insufficiency, hunger. Okay, shortage. There you go, right there, a food shortage, man. That's the beginning of a famine. All right, and it's only going to get worse and worse and worse and worse. The effects are going to become more and more and more compiled over and over again as the years, months, days, months, weeks, whatever go by. Okay, all right. Now let's see what the word famine. Man, famines in the Greek. Strong's G3042. Let's see.
Strong's G 3042. Lemas. Lemas.
It says scarcity of harvest, famine, scarcity of food. Is that not what he was talking about? Is that not what he was talking about? A scarcity of food. Okay? That's not what this man just said. We read it in the article, man. All right, they rationing out food, man. Okay, this is not something that's a far off and it's like, oh, years down the line and we could just, we could prepare now. No, no, this is happening now, man. Okay. Oh man, lovely. Anyway, another thing too. All right, this is from Vox.com. All right, it says why baby formula is in short supply and who is most at risk. Okay, America is enduring its worst baby formula shortage in decades. All right, it says baby formula has been running low all over the United States, threatening the health of infants and other people who depend on it for their sustenance. Experts say it's the worst formula shortage in decades. It's also the latest example of how the U.S. health system's failure constantly falls hardest on people with complex medical conditions and those who are socioeconomically disadvantaged. All right, now those two categories, all right, complex medical conditions and socioeconomically disadvantaged, those two things said right there should let you know who's more at risk. Okay, and it's Jake. Okay, that's why it's called Jacob's Trouble. Okay, which I've been talking about Jacob's Trouble this whole time. Let's go to Jeremiah the 30th chapter. It's here. Okay, it's going down. Okay. All right. This is Jeremiah 30:7. It says, "Alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, and he shall be saved out of it." Going into the elect, man. Okay. All right. So it's gonna be a time unlike any other time in history. It's gonna be bad. Okay. All right. Especially for you women. Okay. It says the shortage can be traced back to a contamination problem at the Abbott factory that produces much of the Similac formula as well as several other brands for the U.S. market. Abbott voluntarily shut down the factory in February amid consumer complaints about contaminated formula that was linked to two infant deaths. As of mid May, it's still not up and running again. As Politico reported this week, it's not exactly clear why Abbott and the FDA have failed to come to an agreement that would allow the plant to resume producing formula and help alleviate the shortage, which is good, man. Because again, it's been a lot of problems, so called, with these different food producing plants. Okay, all right, and through the spirit, it's all by design. Okay, you got them burning down, planes crashing into them. They shutting down because there's a contamination here, there's a contamination there, and don't open back up, man. All right, this is all by design. Okay, it says the factory's prolonged shutdown combined with general supply chain problems for the formula ingredients and packaging have led to formula stock drying up fast. Nationwide, about 40% of the most popular baby formula brands were out of stock as of April 24, according to the Wall Street Journal, much higher than 10% average in normal times. Some parts of the country, like the San Antonio metropolitan area, are seeing more than half of their normal supply out of stock. Panic buying amid new news of the shortage has already caused some major chains to limit the number of formula containers that any one person can buy, which that's called rationing. Okay, all right, which that's according to the scriptures. Public officials are already worried about the possibility of price gouging, as long it says as long as supplies are limited, some people may struggle to feed their children on or themselves. It is people of color. That's why this is called Jacob Trouble. Okay, Jacob's Trouble, and people living in poverty. Jacob's Trouble. Jacob is poor people of color, right? You Negroes, Latinos, and Native American, along with the people who must take special formulas for medical reasons. A lot of that is Jake too, who will be most exposed to the health and economic consequences of the prolonged food shortages. Okay, all right. So, hey, let's go into some precepts, man. All right, this is Isaiah 32 and 9. Okay. Rise up, ye women. Okay. All my single ladies. Yeah, you don't need a man. You can do it all by yourself. Rise up, ye women that are at ease. Hear my voice, ye careless daughters. Give ear to my speech. Many days and years shall ye be troubled, ye careless women, for the vintage shall fail and the gathering shall not come. Okay? The vintage shall fail and the gathering shall not come, man. All right? So all the things that you rely on in the society to keep yourself afloat, okay? It's not coming. So you're gonna be defenseless, man. And you're gonna see the recompense for all the pride, man. Okay. Now I don't need a man. I can do all bad by myself, feminism and all that. Okay, now you're gonna have to do bad all by yourself for real. Okay. From the NLT, it says in a short time, just a little more than a year, you careless ones will suddenly begin to care. For your fruit crops will fail and the harvest will never take place, man. Okay. Tremble, ye women that are at ease. Be troubled, ye careless ones. Strip you and make you bare and gird sackcloth upon your loins. So that means mourn. Okay, it's time for you women to get judged, man. All right, that's why the brother Karab in my camp calls it what Eve's trouble. Okay, it says they shall lament for the teats, for the pleasant fields, and for the fruitful vine. Okay, so they're gonna be sad out here, looking messed up. Okay, defenseless. All right. Okay. Lamentations chapter 4, verse 3, it says, even the sea monsters draw up their breasts to give suck to their young ones, but the daughter of my people has become cruel like the ostrich in the wilderness, man. Okay, all this talk about baby formula shortage and stuff like that. You have two breasts that the Most High blessed you with to be a blessing to the child that came out of your womb. That's what it's for. Okay, all right. You don't see the deer and the antelope, the elephant, the gorilla, the dog, the cat talking about a baby formula, worried about a baby formula shortage. You don't see them worried about that. Why? Because the Lord already designed them, the females of them, with the glands necessary to produce milk for their young. Okay, so they don't have to suffer in that way. All right, but y'all want to be all, oh no, that's a burden and societal pressures and but it's necessary. That's necessary for the brain development of the child, their immune system. All of these things are found in their breast milk, and it's actually good for you. Okay, helps you get back into shape and you know prepared for having another child. But y'all don't want to do that. Y'all don't want to do that. Y'all don't want to have children. Y'all don't want to be mothers. Y'all don't want to do none of that. So now you gonna suffer, and your children are gonna suffer too. The tongue of the suckling children cleave to the roof of his mouth. I'm sorry, the tongue of the suckling child cleaveth to the roof of his mouth for thirst. The young children ask bread, and no man breaketh it unto them. They that fed delicately and are desolate in the streets, and that they that were brought up in scarlet embrace dunghills. Okay, all right. So a famine is coming, and the first ones that's going to be affected are the children. Okay, Jeremiah 18. Well, forget a famine is coming. We're in a famine. Okay, and the first ones to be affected are going to be the children and the women. Okay, Jeremiah 18 and 21, it says, therefore deliver up their children to the famine and pour out their blood by the force of the sword, and let their wives be bereaved of their children and be widows, and let their men be put to death, let their young men be slain by the sword in battle, man. Okay, so the first ones to be affected are the children. Then it's going to trickle down to the old, and then the women. Okay, and then the men. All right. It says, for the going back to Lamentation 4 and 6, it says, for the punishment of the iniquity of the daughter of my people is greater than the punishment of the sin of Sodom that was overthrown as in a moment, and no man stayed her. So Sodom and Gomorrah, they got overthrown as in a moment. All right, the Lord didn't waste no time with them, but with Jake, the Lord's gonna make Jake really hurt. Okay, all right, little by little, make the squeeze and the pressure harder and harder on them. Okay, going down to matter of fact, it says, verse 7, it says, her Nazarites were purer than snow. They were whiter than milk. They were more ruddy in body than rubies. Their polishing was of sapphire. Their visage is blacker than a coal. They are not known in the streets. Their skin cleaveth to their bones. It is withered, and it is become like a stick. Okay? Suffering from famine is going to darken the countenance of these people, man. They that be slain with the sword are better than they that be slain with hunger. For these pine away stricken through for the want of the fruits of the field. And it's going to get worse than that. The hands of the pitiful women have sodden their own children. They were their meat in the destruction of the daughter of my people. So cannibalism is going to lead to cannibalism. Women are going to end up eating their own children, man, their own little ones, for the lack of bread. That's what's going down. Okay, all right. Sheesh, man. Drought, social unrest, and famine. Okay, all right. The Lord not playing, man. We in these last days, man. Hey, Jake better repent, man. But hey, Lord willing, this video is edifying. I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rachak Wadash. Double honors to the elder apostles of Great Millstone and salutations to the elect. A Kwame Yasharal and the Bod Babal. Shalom.